by put themselves in a position where they know they can not just hold it down if it's a good position in the next circles, but also transition to and from, so they have a big area to scout. You know, if it goes west, they usually go on the Harry Potter Tower west of Gatka. A perfect transition. Right. That's where you usually overtake, and if there's only one guy there, they just take it because they're 2 versus 1 with stronger loot and possibly also more mechanically skilled.
Yeah, that's a very powerful point to be in that actual the tower that you mentioned. We've seen Larson actually clutch it in a very tremendous play. I think it was GLL about 4 months ago that he was playing in. Really great clutch by Larson in that specific place. But yes, indeed, I do agree that 2+2s are powerful. And talking about Larson, WTSG actually have, I think, in my opinion, the smartest 2+2 rotations out there.
Okay.
They know how to defend, they know how far to stay away from each other, and they always have line of sight, which is indeed one of the key elements of doing a 2+2, because you don't want to put 2 people on one edge of the circle and then 2 people on the other edge. They won't be able to support each other, neither with information, neither with firepower. So these 2+2 have to be played smart.
Definitely, and of course we've seen a lot of teams, once they drop in a certain location and a circle will pop, be it west, be it east, be it wherever, they like their own set compounds. The places that they go time after time after time. We see that through a lot of teams eventually.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, again, I want to go back to, this is the first time these teams play against each other. I'm 100% sure that these teams are not 100% prepared for where every team goes in the set circle. Say we just put 6 circles across the map, then they know exactly what compounds are taking, but 19 other teams, that's 100% prepared for where every team goes in the set circle. Say we just put 6 circle clashes in rotations where they're going to be camped on rotation paths. We talked about north of Pachinki, huge transition path to the west and the east for teams coming there. Yeah. So I think we're going to see breaches in compounds, which you don't usually see. We're going to see contests in compounds where, because again, you have perfected a playthrough. You want to go to a location where you transition to and from, but you also want to hold it down. Yeah. So you want to go there again, and they are probably also prepared for, okay, if somebody there, what's the next step for it?
Yeah, absolutely. The good part about these qualifiers is the fact that all these teams now have something
across the map,
research
they
on
know
the other teams. And mind you, apart from playing, for sure they're going to be, they have done their research, especially the coaches. They're going to know, okay, this compound is definitely going to be taken by one of the teams. We know that they love to play here, so we will try to avoid it. Some of the teams have a higher adaptability, but of course all the teams have a preferred kind of compound to play in certain circles. However, I think some teams will perform a bit better. I'm thinking Liquid here specifically. They're pretty much good to go wherever you set them up, whether it's a hillside, whether it's a certain compound that you put them in. They're very good with new elements. They know how to work as a team. I feel like the communication in that team is down to a tad. Right. So I think they're going to be shining through, even if some of the other teams are going to be getting the prime locations, so to speak. I think they're going to be doing pretty well wherever they sit.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys about how you approach a game #1 in a tournament setting like this, because obviously we're on a huge stage here. Pressure could very easily be on for a lot of these teams that may not necessarily have been in this massive arena before in a LAN setting. In fact, not many of them at all have been in this kind of setting, because this is basically the first time here truly for PUBG in an arena quite like this. How do you approach the first game? Do you approach it a little bit more cautious than you normally would, especially against some teams that you're not as well versed with? Or do you just kind of play your own game? What do you think?
Honestly, I think we're going to see the kind of regional meta go into play here. So we're going to see, North America, they're very aggressive. They're going to be coming out on top of that from the beginning. I think we're going to see the regional kind of play. We have the Southeastern Asia. They're kind of take them all slow in the beginning, and then when you come further into the end, they go very aggressive third party and stop and scout every compound they go into and everything. So I think we're going to see the regional meta come into the first game, and then slowly as we come through the days, we're going to see adaptability to these 20 teams, how they play and how they counter that, how they breach the other teams.
I have a theory in that regarding actually about this sort of specific thing, because we tend to see in championships time and time again certain teams that perform amazingly well in the first day, and I think a main element to that is because in the first day of any kind of tournament, teams usually fall back to a bit more cushiony, they're a bit of a safe side center strat, which means crashing in the center of the circle in the compound that is safest to defend from there, so that you have following circles as well. That's why edging teams that like to brawl, teams that are good, we're called them sweeper teams, of course, because they're very good mid-game into sweeping their circles all the way around so that they get safe passage to the next one. I think that's why they get such a good point system, such a good point standing after the first day. After it, of course, all the teams are going to be watching the videos. They're going to realize, okay, maybe everybody's crashing, so it's a bit more viable to actually stay on the edge. and then the second day, usually you're going to see a bit more teams actually playing the edge strat.
We've certainly seen some of those teams that actually already play the edge strat kind of to a T almost. I think one of the teams that really highlights for me is a team that drops around apartments area from North America, being Team Gate. Even when circles have gone down towards military, they're still very happy with staying on the edge of the circle on mainland, even though there's kind of like an 80% chance, 85, 90% chance of that circle shifting down to military. So there's still some viability in those edge strats.
I mean, I think especially on first day, edge strats are superior. I think you need to change, you need to adapt kind of through that. I think on the first day, we're going to see teams that usually edge strat, they will prevail. And then on the next day, where teams realize that are many teams middle, that they can edge towards the later stages of the game, you know, second circle, third circle even. So first day, I think we're going to see the edge teams do good. We're not going to see that many teams go on the edge because everybody wants to be in the middle, even though being in the middle in the first circle is not as viable as it usually is or it used to be.
Yeah, and that's for a very, very good point. We have to mention this, and again, catering to the newer audience, is that the circle system that we have here isn't the same as the default one that we played on. So, of course, considering that the circle strength is much, much slower, so with that in mind, you have you know, a lot of play on the edge.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of our teams, of course, though. This is now coming in as seed #1 from the CIF region, and they do have that feeling that Elaine is going to be playing along with them as well, but he's certainly proved his mettle in that CIF region. Navi and a Vanguard look particularly fantastic in the CIF region.
I mean, honestly, here in Navi, they're going to be a team coming on top on the first day. They're an edging team. They come late to the later circles, even if it's on top of them. We saw Eileen, even though he's a substitute, he did fantastic for them in the CIS qualifiers. He's a very good substitute for him. I feel like he fits in well. He's very communicative and very good for that.
Oh, and another team getting a lot of response here from the crowd. 4AM hailing from China, a team that has won their TPP round. I like it. I like it a lot. And overall, they performed extremely well in TPP, so they've got a great opportunity here in day #1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. 4AM performed great in TPP. They came in second to last in the FPP tournament. There goes that great support from China. You gotta love the crowd. The Chinese crowd is really great. Right. But yeah, I do think they're gonna have much higher chances in these first 2 days of the TPP tournament. I don't know if there's much to say about the FPP side of things, but then again, they're going to have to really adjust their strategy because they're a very aggressive team. They're a very vengeant team. If one of their players goes down, they don't necessarily play it on the safe side. They will go and try to attack, even if they're at a disadvantage.
Even if, as you said yourself, statistically, the more players you have into the later stages, they know that. They know if you have 4 players alive into the fourth circle, you have a higher chance, a much higher chance of winning the game.
Absolutely. Another team that we've got coming in here from Japan, of course, we have CG, and they actually have 2 teams here representing, which is important. Their organization pretty much dominates the Japanese region.
I mean, Tryhard Gaming, we have Windfall and Sanadu. Windfall, fantastic team. They're going to be having great times in the military area. They're going to be, I think they're going to be in the military area alone. Some thought that Ghost went there, but they're going to be there alone. They're going to be chilling there in that area, and they're going to be having good rotations from there.
One of the big teams coming into this tournament for a lot of people is Genji Gold, with this team having propelled themselves all the way to the very top there, challenging Genji Black for a long time, but finally really taking that mantle off them. They're one of the big names coming into the tournament.
And also we have Simpson, who played with Black previously. Correct. He played with them in Katowice, so he has a huge insight on that team. So if they come in a fight in the end game, they will try to annihilate them, and they know exactly how to.
And another team coming in from Korea, of course, we have Genji Black here as well. And overall, for a long time, they were the top of Korea, be it with KSV no title. Of course, OGN Interface was definitely always challenging up there while they were KSV no title. But Black, as it stands right now, came out of 2nd seeding in the Korean region, and they're looking here to perform. They're a bunch of veterans when it comes to the Korean scene.
They're veterans, but also they're back to their old lineup after Simpson went out and went to gold. They're back with Dramatic, and that's what they played with for a long time. So
that's what they've been good, actually.
That's what they're good at. So excited to see that. And here we see something I can't read. But it feels like it's
a China #1. perhaps. What are the things that could be said?
Representing Refund Gaming there as well. Thank you for joining us here. Everyone from across the world has joined us here in Berlin to see who is going to become a world champion, not only in TPP but also in FPP. And when it comes to the first game, we are ready to go, gentlemen. Game at #1 here of PGI 2018. Let's over to the commentary team for game #1.
Thank you so much, and yeah, we are incredibly lucky to be doing this. This is an incredible opportunity between these teams to finally show us who really has what it takes when it matters. Their legacy starts today. That's the big part here for these teams.
That's literally it. I mean, we've been here from the start. We've seen all the qualifiers across the world. We've talked various teams. They're these best in the world, are they best in the world? But really, we do have the best in the world. And now it all comes down to this. They have to fight across 2 modes, TPP and FPP. We've seen variances, quite a lot of swings recently with, okay, you might be able to play this mode, but can you play that mode? And it kind of all comes down together. All right, there might be an average one, but at the end of it, there can only be one.
That's exactly what we're going to find out throughout the course of the next couple of days. And again, thank you for turning up midweek. What is this incredible crowd? Berlin, you surprise me every single time I come here, but what a beautiful audience already. And I've got a surprising little thought that, you know, I thought maybe coming out here, Na'Vi might be the favorites, or maybe it might be Liquid. Maybe not. We have a couple of different teams coming in, getting a lot of support. So I'm loving seeing that, especially the 4 AM side. I'm liking seeing the crowd kind of getting behind them, getting loud. It's not even in game yet, and they're getting rowdy.
I mean, this is what we kind of see when we've been looking at, for example, I use FaZe and Liquid. We talk about these teams, we see them performing over in Europe, so, these are the best in the world, these are the guys that are playing at the top level. We don't see these other scenes. We don't see what they're doing behind the scene. I mean, we look at Korea, an example. They had 5 Pro Tours to get to this stop. 36 teams to get through. I mean, that's it's a bit of a gauntlet. To be able to get here out of 36 teams is massive.
And you'd only look at the other regions and simply say, oh, of course they deserve to be here. They fought incredibly hard for it. But then you look at, as you said, the region out there, that was an incredibly grueling task. So no one can take it away from any of these teams making it to this point. To walk onto that stage is truly an honor. And I think we're going to find out how badly they want it. That's as much as you can say when it comes to this. All these teams are incredibly talented, skilled, tactical. They have the mechanical ability. But can they deliver on a big stage? We haven't talked about it. They didn't highlight it much on the desk. People get blooming nervous. Look at that crowd. Look at that audience. This isn't sitting at home anymore. This isn't just you in your bedroom. This is you with a big audience watching your every single move.
There are a few teams that have literally qualified through one event. That was their first LAN event. They've qualified for a spot and now they're here. Like, it's talk about taking a bit of a jump up. All right, we've been in the, you know, we've seen it through the old ages where you go to your little LAN events, you kind of build up the momentum, you get better and better through time. Some of these teams have quite literally gone, okay, we've won one qualifier and now we're sat there.
Not bad.
Playing for $1 million.
Not bad at all. And the desk got away with it. Wasn't many predictions down there. Kalaris let him off lightly. He was being a kind man to start off the day. I won't be so kind. What do you? I don't think predictions are right. Let's kind of set the tone here. What do we think we're going to see coming into this, especially coming into the third-person perspective? Let's kind of keep that as like a little bit of an undertow here, that it will be slightly more adjusted than what we're used to seeing, at least in this side of the world.
I mean, generally, we've been trying to assess this as much as possible, where teams could potentially be dropping, where they could potentially be fighting. Until this game actually gets going,
it's all theory.
It's all up in the air. We don't really know. We can theorize and we can best predict. One thing that I think we have at least kind of got some common ground on is the Korean teams. They could be crashing into teams early on. When we look towards Nova, you know, we see Honey Badger Nation, who both ignorantly said, we ain't moving out of here. And then we look on the opposing side, Genji Black, up in North George. We could have a few problems along the way. I definitely think, to kind of answer what you said, Korea is something that we have to look at in terms of the performance that they've been doing, especially Gold. When you've done 5 Pro Tours and you've come second at 3 of them, that sets a statement.
It is. It's a big statement piece. And I think there's going to be a lot of that here. I think teams want to come out the region out there. You want to get others not coming near your area, not using that area for rotations. You want to kind of put the fear of God in them, because it is. It's a big statement piece. You've got to start this one quick. Otherwise, to come out the region out there, you want to get others not coming near you, get further ahead here. This is why we have to see these teams coming out the gates very early on looking good. I think there's something to be said for a lot of the teams who aren't experienced on bigger stages or playing in tournaments anywhere near this caliber, that if you don't get that hot start, if you don't get that first kill, if you don't get that little bit of a good game at the beginning, you know, the loot that you want, you're going to not feel out the game. You're not going to be able to bound back. That's where the experience would kick in, I feel, with some of the more established teams who know what it's like to kind of brawl your way back in through the next couple of days if you get that bad start.
I think the overarching, not necessarily a problem, but difference from other competitions is how many little games they are. You can't use certain ones as testers. Okay, we'll drop here, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we lose a player, maybe we don't, maybe we can carry on. Maybe we can try different things and, you know, kind of pull a phase, for example. Feel it out on day number 1.
Look how well that went for phase.
Well, yeah, a little bit unfortunate. And then day 2 and 3 pull it out the bag. You don't get that. With 8 games, it literally is cutthroat, do or die. You can't make any mistakes because one mistake, one really bad game putting you in 20th position, it just puts so much pressure throughout the next 2 days.
Okay, if you're going to predict, let's say, let's just have a little go at this. Top 3, you can pick any team to sit within that. Who are you thinking for today?
You'd be wrong to not choose 4AM. You know, when you look at what they've been doing coming out of the China region. Again, 4AM, we talk about good days, bad days.
Oh, they are the completely polarizing ones at times.
TPP, first position in the qualifier.
God tier.
Happy days. FPP, 19th.
Puts a question mark in your head. It makes you wonder what's happened there.
Anything, you like a little phase of anything can happen. Anything,
it's not Sunday.
Any given Sunday,
So,
excuse me.
Scoots isn't here yet, all right. He's probably watching somewhere, and it is the infamous any given Sunday, but it does not only apply to Sundays, it feels, especially in this game. Things can go wrong. The difference made between good and great teams is the ability to recover and work with the hand you're dealt. That is what makes an incredible team at this game, and we have some sat right beside us, behind us there on that stage, preparing themselves, going through those final thoughts in their head, just going through the motion of, okay, are we still doing this plan? Yes, yes, yes. They know what they're doing. They know their loot routes. They know the threats. They know what's at stake now.
I think to answer your question further, I think definitely Liquid, you can't count them out regardless. These are old Armor boys. They've been playing third person.
I'll give you Liquid.
Just because it's third person, all these FPP players, you're just giving them more vision.
Hey, look, we all played the third person. When this game first came out, that's all we were playing as well.
It's a lot of fun, let's be honest.
It was really good.
It really is a lot of fun.
Look, I'm not gonna, I've just said it on air. I can't even pretend I can be like low key.
I don't play it.
It is good fun. But the point is that who else is joining them? Because you've gone for the two gifts. So you're going to go for
all right. You know what? I was going to say Genji Gold, but I'm going to say a Vanguard.
See, I was going to go CIS on this one, and I think Martin said it well on the desk. He said that they're the ones to look out for. Na'Vi, of course, not with full roster, could be in a bit of a problem there. They don't have the kind of go-to look that we like to see them under. This could be the room for a Vanguard to really come out and do something quite nasty.
I mean, we saw him at the CIS qualifier. It was first and second position, and they were trading shots left, right, and center. It was pretty wild. Like, one day at the end of it, you'd have a Vanguard up in first position, then the next, all of a sudden, it'd go back to Na'Vi. When they both didn't get first or second, they were both down the bottom of the board, so they kind of, it's really weird. It's really bizarre. They follow one another. Whether or not they have this intuition generally of, all right, you're my biggest competition, so I have a good estimation or guesstimation of where you're going to be. Obviously, Drainish used to play for that team, moved across. Yes, they're not playing with a full roster. Yes, Shade1 is an absolute god for his age, and if he does, and when he does come back into the roster, that team is going to get elevated something chronic. I mean, the man's an absolute machine, but still, they knew this was happening. It's not as if it's an emergency, oh god, what we're going to do. So iLame's been playing for a while now. They're going to be dangerous, let's be honest.
Oh, there's no taking danger away. I think there's danger in every single one of these teams, whether it be first person or third. I don't think that's really within question. I think when you really come down to the point, though, I think you're right. There is still danger in that roster. And I was surprised. I was wondering if you're going to go for the kind of more Korean side or the CIS side. And where are you confirming CIS here?
I'm going to do because I'm concerned about how this first initial drop's going to go for both Korean teams for the simple fact of, you know, we have WTSG there. They went,
big name as well.
We ain't moving. Simple as that. And same from the North America Tony Badger Nation.
There's a lot.
And anything can happen. This game one's going to be a little bit wild.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of nerves coming through as well. I think this will be where you'll see a lot of teams trying to work it out a bit. Again, the game is almost underway. If you are tuning in at home, anywhere in the world right now, if you're in the arena, thank you for joining us here. We are almost prepared. You can see the teams, they don't want to rush this. They don't want to get anything wrong. When you get in that game, you want it to be 100%. You want your focus to be purely on how you are going to be the last team standing.
I think as well, just to kind of, in the final few seconds while this does go forward, for these teams that do know there are enemies abound, there are players, teams that are going to be in their drop zone, where they're going, in their local towns, their villages. If you get bullied out of that position, what does it say to other teams? Are you A pushover, Or at least are you B? When you go to another place and have to find another place, it's going to be difficult to loot. And we have game number 1. We are live, we are kicking. Berlin, make some noise! Plane route starting off at Zaki. She's going to go diagonally over the map, ending at Milta Power. Now, this is the point, Lauren. Where do people go? Where do people start? Where do we see? It could be everything we've wrote down could be just a complete mismatch.
I might just throw this over there in a second. We're going to have to keep our eyes drilled on this map, and I'm sure you guys are at home wondering where teams are going. What is the plan here? We're seeing a couple of teams heading off quite early on, and if there's anything that stands out to us that maybe not in the norm, then we'll highlight it. Anything standing out to you so far?
Yeah, I didn't expect anybody going Severnian. It looks like 2 teams are eyes on the prize.
Well, that was meant to be available. That was meant to be open for grabs.
Ironically, both of these teams qualified through the same qualifier. They know one another. This is both of the Asian teams from the Taiwanese, I think it was qualification. Okay. So they'll have some idea at least how they played. Let's
look at George as well, because we did say about Welcome to South George that the Korean teams could be questioning them very early on. And hey, hello? Oh, that car's looking a little different. It's looking quite nice.
It's a nice bit of paintwork. I like it.
Fard's got a nice new ride to just go for a little drive around and just really show off in George now. He's got the little Hot Wheels coming in, so he's going to get himself going as well. So welcome South George. You need to be on a swivel, though. They know that there are teams close by, and the circle has come through. So we know where that's going to be. That is towards the southeast side of the map. Almost slap bang in. The middle would be, I guess, shelter a little to the south of it. So you're looking at that sort of area to be where they crunch towards. But now we get to see it all open in front of you. Who gets first blood? Who's going to get the loot they want? Where are these teams going?
All right, then, so we've got the usual format here. If we look across to South George, now, this is an interesting one because as we look at Genji Black, they've gone for the 2-2 split. It looks to me like potentially they might try and box in WTSG. They know WTSG's here. Avanga, they're happy. They can do the usual thing. They'll just chill in the north. However, when we look at CGX, I didn't expect him so far up in Zaki.
No, it's curious here. We are seeing 4AM working their way across the bridge. We did have a little glimpse of that as well, heading south. But there are teams waiting over in Nova. Now, I don't know how looted up this team is, so this could be a problem. He does at least have a mini. This could be a picked-up kill. This could be first blood in the tournament. This could be everything coming through here. The mini does get the tag, but it doesn't get the frag just yet. This could be huge now.
I think he may have at least touched the tire. You saw the car wobbling a little bit as the rest of 4AM. They will try.
It's going to be a one-shot now on one of the players there.
Connection.
Just about making their way.
Reload saved his life. Lucky man.
Godv is counting his stars.
So where are they pinning them back? I love it. The fact that you actually have fan bases here. I don't think we've quite seen this on this scale yet and on this level where fans literally turn up to support their teams.
And I'm wondering if that was a bit of a read into the other team as well. If you're looking at the bridge area, if you know how a team likes to play, you know their rotation routes, you position one man towards it. Could be a piece of, a bit of mind play there. I like the idea of it, but everyone is still alive. No one wants to be the first to fall.
Okay, so let's talk about the ones that we actually did get correct. Now, Liquid, we know they go Yasnaya. Yep. Happy days for them. No one's touching Liquid because they're absolute monsters. The Knights from Europe, they're in the same place as ever, just the left-hand side of Lipovka. Do what they want, watch for people driving by. Savage, now there's no phase here, so you'll see them in Milta Power. Sometimes when we cast them before, you will always see phase there, but they can just go across all the bank, from the power down to the mini power, all along the coastline. Meanwhile, further left, we keep going through. We see Honey Badger Nation. Now, I expected them to go Nova, and they even said, we're going Nova, it's not a problem. They've backed off. So this is where we see Genji Gold. They're allowed to go home. They get the usual place as Nova, and it's 4AM who end up being inside military. Usual place for Navi, down at bottom in Prim. Ironically, no one's actually there to kind of even bother them. However, the plane route wasn't too good for them. It did take a bit of time to get there. They've only just landed on their feet. They need to get that loot now and then start to get a wiggle on because that circle is quite far away.
I just want that car, but yes, it is far away. The thing is, they've had not much going their way. With the circle and the plane route combining, it does mean they are going to be chipped away at time. And I'm wondering if anyone goes for like early good positioning here, if anyone's going to be that quick. It's very early game, though, to be doing that. But you are going to be seeing teams kind of considering, because we know there's not that many hard compounds, quote unquote, if you look at towards the area that's probably going to centralize on, that kind of southern area, possibly by the lumberyard. It's very tricky to get good positioning there because there's a lot of open ground, a lot of hillside. So we are starting to see some of the teams working their way towards certain positions. They may not be fully happy with the loot they've got, but at this point you want to get that positioning early, send that one man out to claim that good spot, so then you can pull the rest of your players into the same position.
The Knights have got a good run because they're so split, and that's how they do it. They'll send 1 or 2 down to Lepovka. You'll see Kramer up at the top, and then Box It usually kicking it somewhere around Prison. They're really spread out. Now that circle, if I was a betting man, I'd probably suggest it's going to shift north. We will soon find out. You'll probably look in the bottom corner. We've also got the new observer tools on there. You can see the time of what's currently on the game. You can see how many teams are alive, how many players, and then the blue zone phase. So that time is until it actually clicks over. So you'll have 2 timers. You'll see 1 till the next phase is actually about to move, and then 2, how long it is till it touches the edge. You mentioned earlier on 4 AM that it get a bit tanked up to get down onto Millie base, but now they've kind of, at least we did see in scrims as well that they did go here a few times. That's a 24. That's a nice gun. Is that nice silenced as well? Did I catch it?
I can't see it at that angle. I'm not sure. But the one thing about military bases, it's the supplementing loot that you sometimes lack. I think Boogie slightly highlighted it on the desk as well, is the fact that sometimes you don't always get those perfect scopes. You don't get all the perfect attachments because they just don't seem to have the place here. So again, that could be a factor. We are seeing at least a little bit of the scopes on here. And actually, Wick, he's a danger man. We know it can be. This could be first blood, and it will be. Wick confirms. And the Aussies fall down under, and Champs is not going to be feeling so good about that one.
Yeah, that's not a good way to start. Wick claims the first victim. Honey Badger Nation, 15 points in the bag. And if you look on Champ's name in the top right-hand corner, you will see the red splatter. That means they are confirmed dead. Before, you wouldn't actually see that. You'd see a skull, but now you will see a blood mark. When you see the blood mark, they're out of the game. They're deleted from the server. Looking at the overview as well.
Oh, this is look at how many teams are posturing for this area. Everyone wants this position very quickly. This is what I theorize would be end game, quote unquote. But you've got to be careful here. You don't want to kind of put yourself in a position where everyone's eyes on you. You've got to try and play that timing just right, and that is the name of the game, and it's so tricky to do it.
Every time I look at this car, I just think of that edgy t-shirt I had as a kid. The black shirt that we're all over as we do whip across to Myth. Just trying to take control here on the side of the lumber mill. Looking across as Refund do try and get up there. If they get in the lumber, they're pretty much going to be central, so it would be it'd be decent for them. Nice little bit of pacing. They can move up there. James, however, in the kill feed.
Now, let's also remember, this being third-person perspective, a lot more of these just kind of terrain-based positions become very viable. It's not just hard compound. Scoon's getting in on the action. This is Liquid lining up the kill feed very early on, and a couple more shots come through. The connections aren't so perfect, but James, he's being a little bit naughty about this. He's been a little bit relentless.
So they've taken 1 player out there from Oyun, and at least took the tires out of the vehicle. Now that vehicle's gone completely, so they just smashed that to a million pieces. The smoke's down at least, so you can run away with this one. Keep your eye out, folks, for all various little differences here, especially on the observer mode. There are a few new tools that PUBG are going to be showing off, and they are damn good because they give us so much more information. Meanwhile, this is let's talk about this team then. Genji Black obviously not had the greatest of runs over in the Korean leagues. However, still second place is pretty damn good. They won the first initial out of all the Pro Tours. They came first. And then after that, everything kind of escalated down. Every time we saw Genji Gold get second, these guys got 11th. I think they got 11th 2 or 3 times
back to back. This is going to be a bit of a breach here. There's players right on by. This is huge. Wick's already got 1 kill, so he's got, first blood in the back of his mind, but he could be in for another bit of a problem here. He doesn't realize how many players there are possibly, or maybe he does. Fast Trail's going to be able to spot this one out, and they're on the run. They're getting out of there. They felt the danger. They don't want any of that. Wick might be able to switch over to the 16, get a bit of damage done, but Windfall make it away.
Yeah, they definitely had some sort of info there. They at least got away with it. Happy days for them. Windfall do keep all 4 alive. And this is the thing when we look at all these teams, they've all been here. They're all event winners. You wouldn't be here if you wasn't at the end of the day. So they all have a very, very good idea to play. Speak a little bit more about what you mentioned with the TPP side of things and those aspects. Obviously, there's a lot of old Armor boys in here. Coming back to it and looking at all these different players and talking to them, all right, it brings it back. It brings back the memories and rolls back the years, so to speak, that they can at least have this information laying down. I mean, laying down in itself, all right, we talk about snakes and stuff, but able to lay down and get the lay of the land, know where the cracks and all the crevices are. These guys know this map, Erangel, like the back of their hand. If there's a tiny, tiny little ditch, bump, or crevice, they'll abuse it.
Oh yeah, they know exactly where they can position, whether it be hard cover or not. So for now, a lot of teams just trying to find their place. We're looking for when that circle hits and moves to the next spot. Is it going to be a hard shift? Will it push players into an uncomfortable position? For now, no one's playing massively late either. We'll see a lot of games where teams are taking their time here. We're here in a car 98, and that gets me excited. But overall, we will see teams, occasionally taking their time, maybe not fancying the early rotations, just working edge circle. But for now, it looks like everyone's going very central here. This is what I mean about those opening game nerves, is that teams will not want to take any risks. It's okay, what's the safest bet? And this is it.
They could have moved a little bit down the hill, not too far from where they started. He hasn't either. Could have stayed in if they really want to, but not last to arrive. It's going to be Na'Vi, all 4. 3 vehicles between them. Happy days for them. The Chiefs will be seeing this one. There's no point in even taking shots because A, you're going to give away position, and B, you're already down a man, so you don't want to be losing more. We are only, of course, 10 minutes into this game. 1 man down. It's not very, very good. The last team that will be arriving will be Gen G Black. Do you see a... Are we seeing
Na'Vi getting out. I think they're okay. I don't think they're going to really go for much. The vehicles are safe. They're pretty well positioned. I don't know if they're going to go for too many peaks. Their gear's not great. I'm seeing level 1 vest, level 1 helmet. It's not ideal. So that could be a factor down the line that if you've got to be careful with what you have. But 4 AM on the move, just going to be trying to position themselves here. But OMG aren't far away, and their position's going to be quite tricky for 4 AM to get past. But considering 4 AM probably play this position a lot, you've got to feel they know how to deal with this.
I think as well, if you're going to be knowing that this is 4 AM, OMG obviously being this is the Chinese team that fell second to them, to come here, you want a little bit of revenge. If you can take these boys out, it's going to give you so much confidence. But again, 4 AM rocking that M24, you've got to be careful. That thing will take your face off, especially if you don't have the range. I mean, you need at least M16 with a 4x to be able to tap fire back and give some sort of cover fire support. At the moment, they're in a really good position. They're central pretty much of the map. They've got the gas station locked down. They've also got a little bit of utility in the buildings to the left, and if they do need to evacuate, they've got the vehicles to do that. Gen G still wandering on the old hillside. This is something that I think comes from the TPP kind of region. Notice how some of them will take vehicles and then they'll actually eject players on, while the rest of them kind of, all right, we've seen it in Europe where you'll get that initial scout, so to speak.
We've gone to the east. You can see the big shift now. It was kind of centralized, well, previously it was centralized towards the lumberyard. Now it's kind of shifted all the way to the east, and that's a lot of blue. That's a lot of water in there. That's going to make it quite tricky for these teams to find good positions, because we already know the Liquid's got that god tier compound that I love. I think that's a really nice spot. You have a couple of teams in Malta early, but that thing can be quite tricky to rotate away from, push them out of there. If it shifts you back central, late game, you're going to be in trouble. All these teams are going to be looking for room, and this is going to be terrifying, and this could be a bigger problem. The AK tears him down, and the nade just to confirm the kill. And you can see the nice little tracer, and it slipped a little bit too far away, but it's good enough to get the job done. Yeah, those nades, 3.5 meter kill box, happy days. You ain't getting nowhere when you are down. Unfortunately, with the nade, you are out. Here comes the big rotation, then everyone needs to just get a land grab. This is going to be so messy. And TG, they've opted, Larson, actually, they've got WTSG behind them. We've got 2 teams. Look at the bottom, we've got AHQ that might have eyes on this, but TG, Larson's they've got to turn face. He's getting tracer fire from way further away as well. Larson needs to be very careful here. The nades come down, but he's going to be pinned into this one, feeling very isolated and very pressured. Dre from the back lines finding Gaxi. That is massive play coming out. So we got Mossy onto Larson, we got Knights onto Gaxi, so we got TG and Knights just picking apart WTSG. Vard needs to make something happen. The grenade goes off in front of him, his screen is shaking, that noise is so brutal. There's no way they're getting revives out here, there is no way they're saving their teammates. Vard might have to just bail on this. Gaxi could be picked up potentially, but it depends how aggressive these guys want to get. If they want to push this, WTSG are on the back foot and Knights. Oh, Dre, look at what he can see. If only he could see as much as we could, just a centimeter away. I mean, even if he does get him up, it is in such a nasty position. TG still laying down fire to the left-hand side. This is 4 teams. This is what's going to happen now with this circle. They're all just going to be crushed together and compacted. 76 players for this circle. When there's about 40%, maybe 30% water is ridiculous. Everyone's going to be on their coastline, and then when the circle does, if it does move back towards the west, you'll then get all those coastline people just unfortunately boxed in a little bit too much. Chaleta comes round the corner, and we do see THM ready, waiting, confirms the kill with the Tommy gun of all things. Fair play. Find what you can and make it work. Level 1 vest, level 2 helmet, and Tommy gun. All right, the M4's there, but still not the greatest to be working here with. No, but doing marvelously as is. Let's see if that AK can get back into this, though. Hands of Eska. Known to be a bit of a player here, but we need to see the numbers reflecting that. Need the kills to be coming through, but this is a lot of teams split in very kind of individual positions here. I mean, we've got to be careful. Savage just in the distance as well. If Thankyou and his partner decide to move up into the mini-mill to power area and kind of look... That, if prisons weren't scary enough, Richard, add these lot to it. I'm just looking at how much range Knights have. I don't know if you noticed, I think they had 2 SLRs and a K98 between them. I'm seeing it, yeah, they've got plenty. It's ridiculous. Level 1, level 2. Oh, Evango have taken a bit of fire. That's the M24, so Ono himself
Pretty well-known sniper. Winner's actually going to give him a bit of a taste of his own medicine, completely takes his head off. They'll be able to crawl inside there, provided there's no grenades. Because you can, it's really, the only problem with those containers, it's really easy to bounce nades through the door, and then you compact it so much. This is the position we're talking about on the rock side. It's okay being here, and it's a really good position now for the circle, but if it does shift more towards the west, they're then fighting an uphill battle.
I'm just wondering if Winner knows where the 2-2 split may be. I don't know if he's aware of the other two players, Keen and Amino. That could be the issue. If he tries to overextend to pick up one of these two again, punish them like he did before, that could be a bit of a problem, but Tyson's going for a bit of a walk as well. These guys aren't resting on their laurels. They're very active in the way they're playing this. They're very much looking for opportunities and being aware of where they could be pinched from. That could have been a spot there as well. It looks like Winner might have been able to call that one out. Considering they're down to 2 players, this is a good way to play.
I'm glad you brought that up. 2 players and you're rocking level 1 helmet, level 1 chest. It's not great. And when you're having a crack at a Vanguard like that and taking down their IGL in the form of Honor, you're going to have all kinds of problems because now they know where you are. But the main place that hasn't been taken is the backside of Milta Power. I'd expect maybe one team to just go, not necessarily for a breach.
There's going to be so many.
Just bail for it.
Yeah, there's going to be so many teams going for that back sort of positioning. So many teams now need to move. The safety has been removed here. It's basically centering in on Milta Power. Every team's on the run. In fact, they're in trouble. Mino needs to get himself. It's a cover. No! Caught in the heels. Edge catches him out. That a bit of a mini work coming through Major on this one, and they do just about get to the yellow houses. He does get into safety, but they need to slow this down for a second, get everyone in, get the revives, get this as their own.
OMG are actually traversing behind them. Here comes everybody. I mean, look at that. The cavalry has arrived, boys and girls. The top of the hill, you've still got one team. I think, I'm not entirely sure that is all the way up there. But still, they're all, oh, bye-bye. Ranger, Ragnar, should I say. Unfortunately, will get run over. He's down and out. In the open as well, you won't expect him to be picked up. Meanwhile, we'll see this 4 AM going against. We'll see Loki also falling. That's a 24 as well for OHM. And this is what we mean now, Lauren. This place is just going to be so messy. The size of this circle and so many people alive, the kill feed is just going to be alive.
Somehow Liquid made it here. Somehow they are okay for now, but we are seeing Ragnar now being confirmed dead, getting really punished on this one. A lot of the teams being caught on rotations in really curious ways. Somehow running just simply, maybe they don't have the vehicles or they got damaged.
Humru, unfortunately, will have fallen off the back of the vehicle there, unless he went off the back.
And punished too.
Yeah. Cheyenne Blue comes in. Now we'll see North America stepping up. McCoy has a headshot onto Drainey, so Navi, first player, does fall, but he must have got back up straight away because, oh no, excuse me, he's down. So that's Myth, that's a kill steal. 15 points going the way of Myth.
Oh my god, Pino, gotta be so scared here. Knights surround him on all fronts. He does get down one, but he can't survive for the second. The trade comes back in from Texas, and they should be able to confirm that kill. There's the smoke going in to try and allow their teammates to get the revives here. Voxic will be picked up. And we'll be seeing Kramer probably dealt with by his teammates. But Texas is worried because he knows there's going to be more players here. And Texas does finally confirm the kill towards Pino. So Knights are in a decent position, assuming they don't get pressured from other players for a couple of seconds so they can get those revives back in.
So far, I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but I'm thinking. I've not seen anyone.
Shots! Scoom, what on earth? You can see the traces from a mile away.
This is the thing. I've not seen anyone from Europe go down. Oh, excuse me, WTSG, obviously. But still, Knights have been really putting their bag here. Liquid have been doing well. Gaxi and Miraku, I'm really glad these guys are at least managed to stay alive because they got battered from 2 different angles in quite the early game. Frank Fard's there as well. I thought they'd lost more than that. So that's a really good recovery from WTSG, but it depends what's it done to their economy. How's their gear? How's the meds? They could be in all kinds of problems in the late game. Evan onto Mossy. TG lose 1. 15 points in the bag for Navi. Mortify literally clinging on by his bare teeth.
Oh, the sound of these guns at range does sound lovely sometimes. Scoom, though, is collecting kills. This is big work. Now, every team is still roughly alive here. 20 teams still stand. So no full team has gone down just yet. But Liquid are looking like they want to get kills here. They look very hungry on this. You can see that 4 times complementing that well for them. Next circle going to slightly move them southeast again. So Mini Milta is a gorgeous position currently, but 4 AM, they're still on that score feed here. They're still racking these bodies up. They're still doing well for themselves.
Thankfully, nobody went directly behind Milta, so at least they can chill for now. Liquid's in an absolutely banging position. They can just sit behind the hill. P for Potato takes out Timid. That's revenge earlier on for Wick with the initial kill. Onto the Chiefs. But Mew still lurking, still waiting. Ares will find Momino. That's a second knock from him. Grizzly back onto P for Potato. A little bit of revenge there. Esther, though, You know what? OHM are causing all kinds of problems in this kill feed.
They really are. They're just kind of here, there, and everywhere. They haven't been particularly spotted. This is a nice angle. If he can control the spray, it's a good spot. But the cover's decent on the other side, even if his position's okay with the circle against the other team. His smoke goes up, but he's got to be cautious here. There's so many players around. He's trying to be a nuisance on his own. Where's his teammates in this one? Where's his support?
The issue being up there is that circle's going to hurt. You know, it's really going to hurt. They've got 2 minutes 50. Look at that kill feed. We've already seen one team fall. Gaxy's not far behind.
WTSG are screwed here.
I think they got one up.
Yep, it's just Miraku right now, and he's on the run. He's running into more fire from other teams. This could be them gone. They could be the second team to fall out of this one. Miraku, I think, is your last man standing on that squad. And he's getting tagged up as well. It is. Vard's already gone down. Miraku is in trouble. Pressure just about everywhere. He's going to try and build himself a little fortress to heal in and try and keep away the wolves at the door. But for now, he is in real trouble.
Really quick note for Liquid. Even though they were safe, Lauren, they've still moved. They decided to take the middle mini mill to power. That's amazing. To run the gauntlet of so many people still been in there. So, okay, boys, we're not safe here. Let's get out of it. They took the vehicles. They're now central.
It used to be one of the strongest spots in this map a while ago. If you ever played that wall, it used to have a little bit of a different position you could get to that was very, very dangerous. Now it's not there anymore, but you can see the nice control from Dre, but not all the shots hitting, but enough does in the end. Fast rail does go down. That's a bit of a problem now as the rest of the Honey Badger Nation were behind it. But yes, Na'Vi stole that. So that's not a kill in their pocket.
eBat takes the dink with the Mini at range. The Mini is a nasty, nasty weapon. Them whole DMRs, like, it's kind of the DMR AR meta at the moment.
Yep.
Throw the 7.62 in there with the SLRs and you're laughing for days. Voxic, the Knights are doing fantastic work here so far. We're seeing plenty of knocks, plenty of kills coming out of them. We'll see how it kind of forwards.
Only 2 confirmed, though. They have been aggressive, they've been assertive, they've been trying to make the plays. You're seeing it still time and time again. Now getting another kill, but it's hard to make it count here because there's so many teams with so many eyes on situations that are just praying for that. And you're praying you don't get spotted if you're this one player. Just snaking on through.
No best than a level 1 budget helmet. Trying to kind of fight for survival here. Samty finds OMG. Here we go. Liquid moving in. Refund going to hit this one, but Liquid's already waiting with open arms.
How is he still alive on that bike? I don't know how long he's going to be alive for now. It looks like he has been found by one of the Savage players in the end, but he made a good run for it.
Jimbo's lurking though. Big James, 1 kill apiece. Samty just looking for one. He got the knock earlier on, so at least he helped out. Na'Vi will collect Thailand. Did they lose? Yes, they must have lost Drainers. In fact, they did because it was stolen by Myth. So they're still down to 3 players inside the circle. They built themselves a little fort, 2 UAZs. And then none of the tires are gone and the vehicles aren't blown out, so they can still at least move if they have to.
Oh, that's a dangerous angle to be a Miraku. You're the last man alive. Oh, this is going to be it. Great shot comes in. And M24 singing as it just completely decapitates any of the hope WTSG had for game 1.
4 angry men. They will just bury them. Unfortunately, 18th place for WTSG. Not a great start in game number 1. The story of this whole game is this circle, though. How many people are alive? I mean, that's the bigger picture of TPP, right? Because you have so much information. Yep. You can move slower. A lot more will play edge, which is what we're seeing. And now, Liquid's aggression, getting into mini mill to power, has paid dividends. They knew that Milta had a good chance of being pushed out of it. The main mill to power, they moved. They're in a great position. But still, it's all about the little yellow house at the bottom of the lumber mill. All these players are still going to make a move.
And I was thoroughly impressed with Savage's 2-2 split. They're going for an early push here. As soon as that circle popped in, they're off. They're on the way. They're going to try and meet up with their teammates. Liquid's going to spot this out. There could be a bit of crossfire coming in here. This might not be as easy as they like, but actually, it's not Liquid getting the kills. It's another team in the back lines. It's Gold coming through on that one.
Molodoi onto Myth. Minaru will fall at least. Stylem as well back onto him. Sees the completion through, but the answer back. So far, Myth have taken 1 player from Na'Vi. Can they take more? They're trading off left, right, and center.
Look at this push! Richard, he's a madman! He's just gone for the push! He does get traded out in the end, so it's not all gone their way. Made in Thailand, losing their minds in that.
I think that's a 1-on-1. Literally, Eba is the last man standing versus Spitz. Spitz inside, so he can gatekeep him if he really wants to. Molodoi will be telling him where the info is here. I mean, I'm really intrigued to see what Eba can do. There's probably not a great deal, to be honest, and he's just trying to fight for survival. CeeLo's gone down. I'm wondering if that's the end of TG's run as well. 4 AM.
Svit, seen this, he's seen the move. How does he play it, though? Made in time. We've seen the aggression. These guys love a bit of it. Why not go for it? He's got the AK in hand. He spots out the player. He gets up close. Can he get the kill? No. Na'Vi denies.
Not only did Na'Vi deny going out in 15th, They also keep a second player alive. That is absolutely massive. They've got a beautiful little ridgeline to work off of. They can chill for 1 minute, 10 seconds. They can get some gear off the dead bodies. They can refuel. Now all of a sudden it's the Knight's turn to fall under the hammer. You've just seen, I think it was Drayden go down with a headshot from one of the sniper rifles. OMG, 3-man strong still. Up in the top lines here, but they need to get inside. And when they do get inside, there's not much room, there's not much cover.
Tryhard Gaming, though. Again, this aggression really holding, even though they are playing on the very edge. Oh my God, the blue just about. Oh, he makes it! Good work from him with the meds coming in at the last possible second, but for how long? It's, you know, there's no respite here. Turtle, though, keep your eye on the kill feed, catching a nice little shot there. The M24s are seeming to come in really strong today.
They're in a really good position as well. They can gatekeep everybody. Wants to kind of traverse this way around because this ridge that's right in front of them is insane. It's like a plateau. The fact that you can go up and dip behind it, it's massive. You've also got a pylon tower inside. Edge sees one player just chilling. That's a dink and a half.
That's a shot. Sadly, it does get stolen.
Oh, the story of PUBG.
See if you can spot any more.
Is he
Good eyes here.
In the back lines?
And here we go. Look at that circle hit. Mini Milta is going to be really pretty much the final battleground for this game. It will close as central as you like on that.
OMG have got to push this one. Liquid are going to see all 4 players they rotate. Excuse me, all 3 players. Not only do they have to rotate past Liquid, they've got 4AM on the back lines as well.
Savage can do the same. They're not exactly in a bad spot. They're actually within Mini Milta, and you can see exactly what can happen with that beast of a gun. Now, 4AM, good spot, good position. I like the way these 3 teams have played. They took the initiative early. They're going to gatekeep OMG to a bit of an uncomfortable position. They're fine to a degree where they are. There is a defilade. There has that time limit. How long is that viable? When that next circle hits and pushes us forward, after this, if someone goes on that southern swing, we're done for. You've got to be thinking ahead here. And every team in Mini Milta has really done that.
Na'Vi still taking faces, still keeping alive. Amazing work from these guys so far. 6 kills just between 2 players. Eban, man of the hour, looks up. Move across to Ibby's POV, sees the rest of Evanga lurking in the woods. Diaz and Mumino, they fall back to back. 36 players alive. It's a little bit different from the 60 to 70 we saw earlier on. Chiefs in the Harry Potter, they're just begging, nobody decides to come their way. OMG though, again, you mentioned that defilade, it's nice, but when they've got to move, that's when the problem is. Grammatic now, last man standing here for Gen G Black. He'll at least pick up Keen on the way forward, and now he's gone. 14th position will find their feet.
A valiant attempt at life there, and you can see...
Oh my, Wick.
Wick? Are you kidding me right now? He is surrounded. There's so many players near him. Oh my God.
NA on NA. What's he going to do?
Wick. He waits. He hears everything around him. He's letting them go. He's got a flashbang. Hold on, Richard. This is incredibly smart. Ballot could be caught by that. He's putting down the utility. We have to go back to it. Surely we have to see how that unfolds.
We've seen Wick, what he can do with nades. Look at what he did to qualify. He killed 2 teams. It was a 1 versus 8, and he did it. We'll just keep an eye on that kill feed and see if it does come through. Staying alive for now.
You can see it in the bottom left, Curious. The green in the front of less colourful colour. It's Samty that on the spray, and that's going to do well. Mumino can't control it, and Jeems confirms the kill. It may not be Samty's, but it will do the job. That goes into Liquid's pockets. 5 kills already. These guys are really putting up numbers. If they can keep this going towards late game, if they have the sustain, they're in a very good spot.
And another one. Gold comes through with a knock. Liquid pick it up. Headshot to kill. 15 points at time, remember.
Oh, Wick. He let them go. Ghost got away from him. Southeast they ran, and Wick crawls his way forward. He can get into safety here as well. He's staying alive for his team. Keep in mind, the rest of his team are dead. He's playing for position as best he can. You have to play it slow, careful, cautious. The other teams will be out for kills and, you know, being a little bit more aggressive, but we're seeing some of the CIS teams starting to look a little bit rough.
Yeah, they decided to give himself up to the blue and deny any extra additional points towards the 2 teams that was looking at CGX and the Chiefs. 9 teams alive. You're into your top 10, guys. Here we go. Edge and Critical. They're in a pretty bad spot, to be honest. They've got an open floor right in front of them. However, they do have eyes on the boys of CGX
oh, this
across
is going to be a brilliant thing for me. I'm loving this. So 4 AM have to, 1, deal with OMG. Then if they want to move north, it's Liquid in their way. We know that 4 AM have been racking up kills, being aggressive, being good players at this. Seen Savage doing the same. Savage, to a degree, are okay. They have some positioning within that new circle where they're all right. But look at this wall. It's separating these two, but Balak gets a lean, gets a shot, gets a knock, but not a kill. Profi now, nade in hand. They might just dip that up and over, but it will do the job. They do confirm the kill. The nade comes in. This could be trouble for gold.
Turns on a pinhead. He gets the call that people are lurking up in the top of the windows. He hears the bullets kicking off.
They're in between a rock and a hard place here, Rich.
Really are.
You've got to be really careful if you're Ghost. You are surrounded on both fronts. You can't take this too lightly. You want to win one of these two fights so you can focus on the second. Profi's torn in two minds. Savage eyeing them up, but OMG are on the move. 4AM's going to see that as well. Liquid are about to be flooded too. This is about to get very scary for a lot of teams.
Jeeves finally goes down. Silent finds him with the scan.
Look at Liquid, look at OMG. Well. They're right on top of each other, and OMG, they're finding Liquid. Liquid are in trouble. Can you believe that? Scoop's holding an ankle. Santi's still just about alive. But there is now problems. Ibby's gone down. OMG looking hungry here.
They've been sat happy. No one's really bothered them. They've been picking up kills all over.
They're going for the push on this. OMG. And the nade! It's so good! And now they're pushing it. Silence going in. He's looking through that smoke. Shrouded though. Liquid still just about staying alive. But will they be found? Can they stay alive through this? Or OMG just too much to handle? Ghost in the meantime have been fighting off against Gold. Another nade gets thrown. Samty and Scoom just about alive. And OMG seem to have taken their foot off the gas.
That's insane. You've seen Liquid just perch there for all this time, collecting bodies, collecting numbers.
4AM are on the run though, Rich. They're making a mad dash for this too. This could be huge between these teams. Ghost has found Chiefs. They're getting
that's a big nade.
Absolutely destroyed here, and OMG are going on the push. The UMP does it. He leaves the corner. Great angle. But who's in the back lines? It's 4AM. They're coming around to surprise. They've claimed Scoom, and now they want more. 4AM are so aggressive right now. They're pushing for all of this.
Oh, they want it so badly. Look how much they're pushing it. They're still trying to find these guys, but they're down. They've done it. OMG are gone. 4AM find them. Liquid's out as well. Oh my word, what a push from 4AM.
This is huge. Great play. So Savage currently hold the buildings, but Ghosts are happy to fight that. Ghosts have a little bit of an eye towards 4AM. Let's take into account where every single one of these four remaining teams are. You can see the vast majority, but there has to be someone alive. There has to be another danger man. There has to be someone in the back line. There's another player for now. We can keep tabs on that. But actually, he's kind of got the circle there if you look
Savage.
At that.
Yeah, it's a player from, oh, excuse me, no, it's
Crest Gaming's player.
Okay.
All right. The last standing snake.
I had a few cheers there in the back lines.
But right now, you look at the circle. Ghost essentially have the line. 4AM have to come towards them. Savage have to get past them. So for now, it's which way do they look? Can they hold this? Can they weather the storm coming their way? 4AM are a god tier team. I'm taking nothing away from these guys. 8 kills, and they know what's going on here.
I think God V. Imagine if he
comes the push, Rich.
This is it.
It's 4AM on the run. All players moving out together, going to try and make this one count, but can anyone stop them? Can Ghost stand in their way? McCoy eyes it up, spots one, gets tagged, does not get the frag backs off from this, but actually 4AM are being caught in the heels. God V goes down. They do fight back, and we see the battle of the mini-Milta teams now unfolding. 4AM still stand, but Ghost is still in their way. They have not made it past just yet, but Profi eyes them up. Can they spot anyone else out now?
I mean, out of all these teams, they're going to be the most geared.
Look at them crawling, Rich. Look at this play. McCoy, Turtle, Balak, they're going to line them up. This is huge. McCoy now just leans the corner, sprays in, doesn't get the job done. But that time he will. Him and Profi combine, and it's job done. Down to 2, and it looks like Ghost Gaming are in prime position here to take this.
North America. 4
against
players alive. They'll try and pick one up, but that's going to be it. Ghost Gaming take game number 1. All 4 players remaining in the final circle. They line them up, they knock them down. What a way to start the day.
And they fought off against the likes of 4AM, who took down Liquid. We saw so much there. Looking quickly at that positioning, Rich, anything standing out to you?
The thing for me was
that's what it means to these guys.
How many were alive? They were geared up. They had level 2s, they had the guns, they had 24s, they had Car 98s. They stood their ground, they got together. But I tell you what, 4AM, I have never seen committed, and that's committed rather than just bail from it, committed aggression ever. They said, all right, it's time to push. They wiped 2 teams back to back.
That was insane play. That is a team with fire beneath them right now. It's phenomenal to watch. 4AM certainly turned my head. They looked great in that. They looked aggressive, assertive. We saw OMG completely bullying Liquid as well. Liquid did not weather the storm once that team started to really pressure them. This is what we want to be seeing from this tournament. That is the statement to be made. that is the first game we've got here.
12 kills in the bag as well. Like, not only do you get the win, but 15 points a person. Times that by 12, and that's going to jump you up the leaderboards in a rather large fashion. We have to talk about Tryhard Gaming. We saw the Lonely Snake. Oh, this is a survival at the end of the day. Just because you were chilling in the back line, you're still going to get the points.
There's no right or wrong way to play PUBG. There isn't.
Like that,
I don't care what you say. Ghost played a brilliant game, but you cannot take anything away from that second position team.
Really quickly, let's touch a bit more on Ghost.
Yep.
This roster right now did not qualify for this event. The 2 Danish players could not go because they were dealing with the travel issues while they were to be able to play in North America. We saw 2 envious players step in. They then allowed them to qualify for this event. Everyone's kind of saying, all right, this is now the American God Squad. You know, Venerated and Caden, the American snipers themselves, they stepped up for Ghost in a rather large fashion. Everyone's kind of saying, wow, this is the American roster of tomorrow. Back on the roster, Balok, Turtle, a win. You can't ask for any more on day 1 than that to kind of prove the haters wrong and say, this is our roster, we're North American, we're here to stay. That's insane work. To keep 4 alive as well. I mean, where did they start? So they started in Pachinki. They must have got there pretty earlier on and just kind of held the ground. I'm not sure of their entire, where they've rotated from.
No, I'm sure that's something the analysis desk will be looking into here. I'm very, very certain of that. There's plenty to be seen as to what happened with them and what routes they took, how they were able to do that, and that's going to be after the break. So guys at home, do stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment with the analysis desk after the commercial.